Wearing the wrong shoes after 60 isn't just a comfort issue. It might be damaging your spine every single day without you knowing it. According to Dr. Andrew Huberman, your spine isn't just a stack of bones, it's part of a finely tuned communication system that starts at your feet, and when the signal from the ground goes wrong, your entire body pays the price. If you've been struggling with back pain, poor posture, or a body that just doesn't move like it used to, don't look at your spine first, look at your shoes. Let me show you why. The spine-foot connection Huberman warns about. You think your spine pain starts in your back, but it doesn't. It starts at the ground. Every time you take a step, your feet send information to your brain, not just about pressure, but about position, direction, stability. Andrew Huberman calls this proprioception, your body's internal GPS, and after 60, it becomes more important than ever. Here's what most people don't realize. If your shoes distort that signal even slightly, your entire posture changes. Your muscles begin to brace, your joints begin to compensate, and your spine starts adjusting to a version of your body that doesn't actually exist. Think about it. You wear shoes every day, which means you're sending the same message to your nervous system over and over again. If the signal is wrong, your spine adapts to wrong. It learns to live in a state of tension. Your hips shift forward, your shoulders slump. Your lower back carries weight it was never meant to bear. And you feel it. Not right away, but slowly. You start waking up stiffer. You walk shorter distances. You sit more because standing gets uncomfortable. Not because you're old, but because your spine is compensating for chaos coming from below. Huberman's research shows that the nervous system isn't just reactive, it's adaptive, meaning it rewires itself based on the signals it gets most often. So if your footwear is sending instability, poor alignment, or uneven pressure, your spine isn't correcting the problem, it's building itself around it. That's how back pain becomes chronic. That's how posture breaks down, not in a day, but in quiet repetition. But here's the good news. Change the input, and your nervous system starts rewiring immediately. That's how people recover posture in their 70s. That's how long-term pain starts to fade, step by step, shoe by shoe. And yet, even with proper feedback, there's one internal collapse you may not see coming. It's happening inside your feet, and it might already be pulling your spine out of alignment. Let's talk about that next. Flat shoes with no arch, spinal decay in disguise. They feel easy, convenient. You slide them on without thinking. No laces, no pressure, just quick comfort. Flat shoes seem harmless, but what they're doing to your spine is anything but. Inside your foot is a natural suspension system, the arch. It's not just there for balance, it plays a vital role in absorbing shock and distributing weight. But after 60, that suspension weakens. The arch starts to fall, not all at once. It sags gradually, year by year, until one day it's gone. Most people don't notice it happening, but your spine does. When your arch collapses, your foot flattens, and that changes everything above it. Your knees rotate inward, your hips begin to compensate, and then your pelvis tilts just slightly forward, a small adjustment that creates a massive ripple up your spine. That tilt increases the curve in your lower back, pushing your vertebrae into an unnatural angle. Discs compress unevenly, muscles brace unevenly, and the spine, designed to distribute force evenly, starts absorbing stress it was never built to handle. Andrew Huberman emphasizes that the spine is an adaptive structure. It conforms to repeated stress. It learns from repetition. If you're walking every day in shoes that allow your arch to collapse, your spine adjusts to that collapsed posture. It doesn't correct it. It builds around it. What starts as a minor alignment issue becomes a pattern, a spinal habit. And habits like that don't stay small. They become stiffness, pain, limited movement, sometimes even nerve compression. What's worse is how subtle it feels at first. Maybe your back feels tight after standing. Maybe you're not walking as far as you used to. You stretch, you take something for the pain, you tell yourself it's just age, but it's not. It's structure, and the collapse didn't begin in your spine. It began underneath you in the shoes you trusted to carry you. The good news is that your spine responds just as quickly to the right input. When your arch is properly supported, your knees track straight, your hips move naturally, your pelvis levels out, and that chronic pressure in your lower back begins to lift, literally. Arch support doesn't just protect your feet, it protects the alignment of everything above them. But even with perfect arch support, there's one mistake that almost everyone makes without realizing it. It's not about the sole, it's about the heel. And even a tiny lift could be shifting your spine forward in a way it can't recover from. Let's get into that next. High heels and the forward spine trap. You probably haven't worn stilettos in years. Maybe you've never worn them at all. But here's the catch. Heels don't have to be high to hurt you. Even a modest 1-inch heel can shift your entire posture forward, and your spine is the one forced to pick up the slack. Most people assume that as long as they're not wearing fashion heels, they're safe. But sensible shoes, those everyday loafers, boots, or pumps with a low heel, can be just as dangerous. That small incline pushes your body's weight slightly forward. And when your body tilts, your spine reacts. To keep you upright, your lower back arches harder. Your pelvis tips. The muscles along your spine brace constantly to prevent you from falling forward. Andrew Huberman describes posture as a memory. Your nervous system doesn't just react to how you move, it records it. So if you're wearing shoes every day that shift your weight forward, your spine adapts to that position. What starts as a slight overcorrection becomes a habit, and over time, that habit becomes dysfunction. This forward tilted posture, known as hyperlordosis, places a crushing load on the lumbar spine. Discs compress unevenly. Nerves can become pinched, and what you feel is that deep aching pain in your lower back that never seems to fully go away. You try stretching, standing taller, sitting less, but the source of the problem is still on your feet. Wearing low heels once or twice might not cause damage, but wear them day after day, and you're teaching your body to move in a way that slowly wears your spine down. And because it's so subtle, most people never see it coming. When you finally switch to zero-drop footwear or shoes that keep your heel and toe level, you may feel strange at first. That's your nervous system unlearning years of compensation, but stay with it. Over time, your pelvis realigns, your core activates naturally again, and your spine starts carrying weight the way it was always meant to. It's not about giving up style, it's about choosing structure that lets your spine stay neutral, balanced, and pain-free. But here's something most people get wrong in the opposite direction. You fix the heel, you fix the arch, but then you step into something that feels good, too good. And in doing so, you strip your spine of something it desperately needs, clear sensory feedback. Let's talk about that next. Soft shoes that remove feedback. They feel like clouds. They promise relief. You step into a pair of soft-soled shoes, memory foam, thick padding, plush insoles, and your first thought is, finally, this is what my body needed. But what if that softness is fooling you? What if the comfort you feel is actually cutting off the signal your spine depends on to stay aligned? According to Andrew Huberman, your nervous system relies on precision. It needs constant, accurate input from the ground up. Every step you take is supposed to send rich data from the soles of your feet through your spine to your brain, data about pressure, posture, and balance. But when that message gets blurred, your body starts guessing. And when it guesses wrong, your spine takes the hit. That's the hidden danger of soft shoes. They dull the connection between your foot and the floor. They make everything feel fine, even when your alignment is off. Your foot might be rolling slightly inward. Your heel might be landing unevenly, but you won't feel it, not right away. The feedback loop between your foot and your spine gets muted, and over time, that silence creates dysfunction. Your spine starts bracing unnecessarily. It overcompensates for instability. It can't even sense clearly. That's when you notice the creeping discomfort. Your balance feels off. Your steps feel unsure. Your back tightens up faster after simple tasks, and you can't quite explain why. Soft shoes don't give you support. They give you insulation, and that insulation comes at a cost. Without clear input from the ground, your spine loses its ability to coordinate, to correct, to stay centered. It starts locking down instead of adjusting naturally. Huberman emphasizes that proprioception, the body's awareness of movement and position, is like a muscle. It has to be trained. And if you walk around all day in shoes that remove feedback, your proprioception weakens. And as it weakens, so does your posture, your gait, your spine. The fix isn't to walk on concrete or to go barefoot on hard tile. The fix is structured support that still allows you to feel. A shoe that cushions, yes, but also gives your nervous system the clarity it needs to make small, healthy adjustments with every step, because that's how the spine stays upright, not from brute strength, but from constant, intelligent correction. So don't confuse softness with safety. The most protective shoes are the ones that support you and teach your body how to move better every single day. But here's the problem. None of that matters if the structure inside the shoe has already broken down. Even the best shoes, if worn too long, can quietly sabotage your spine without showing a single sign on the outside. Let's talk about that next. Worn out shoes and neurological mismatch. You look at your shoes and think, they're still in good shape. The soles aren't falling apart. The fabric isn't torn. They still look clean. But what you can't see is what your spine can feel every single day, the silent breakdown happening inside those shoes. Most people don't realize this, but even high-quality sneakers lose their support long before they look worn out. The midsole, the layer that absorbs shock and provides structure, starts to collapse after just 6 months of regular use. That collapse may be invisible to the eye, but not to your spine. Here's what happens. Every time the midsole weakens, your step becomes a little less stable. Your heel sinks slightly deeper. Your arch is held a little less firmly. And the alignment that once kept your legs and hips balanced, it starts to unravel. Andrew Huberman's research into neuroplasticity shows us how the brain and body adapt to repeated input, even if that input is wrong. If your shoes are no longer supporting you correctly, your spine starts adjusting to that faulty input. It builds patterns around it. And over time, those patterns become your new normal. You may start to notice it in small ways. Your balance isn't quite what it used to be. You stand up and feel like you need a second to recenter. Your back aches after just a short walk, and you blame it on aging when it's really the spine responding to instability coming from the ground up. Here's the danger. Instability forces your spine to brace. Every step becomes a negotiation. Your muscles overwork, your joints overcorrect, and that subtle grind, it becomes daily inflammation, chronic tension, spinal fatigue. The worst part? You're doing all of this in shoes you trust because they look fine, because they feel familiar, because they don't look broken. But here's the truth. If your shoes have lost their internal structure, they're no longer protecting your spine, they're betraying it. You can test this right now. Grab the shoes you wear most often. Try to twist them from heel to toe. If they bend or fold easily in the middle, the internal support is gone. That means every step you take is forcing your spine to do the job your shoes were supposed to handle. The fix isn't always expensive. Sometimes, replacing a $70 pair of sneakers can save you from a $7,000 back procedure. Your spine doesn't need perfection, it needs reliability, it needs a consistent, stable message from the ground day after day. But what if you're not wearing shoes at all? What if the damage is happening before you even leave the house? Going barefoot on hard surfaces, a hidden spinal strain, it seems harmless. You wake up, step out of bed, and walk barefoot to the kitchen. You've done it for years. Maybe it even feels freeing, natural. But what if that barefoot freedom is quietly damaging your spine, step by step, hour by hour? Here's the problem. Your home may be clean, familiar, and safe, but your floors aren't. Tile, hardwood, laminate, these surfaces are hard, rigid, unforgiving. They don't absorb shock, they reflect it, straight up through your heels, into your knees, your hips, and finally, your spine. Andrew Huberman often talks about mechanical stress and how repeated low-grade trauma builds silently over time. Walking barefoot on hard surfaces doesn't feel like trauma, but to your spine, it is. Because without cushioning or support, your body becomes the shock absorber. And that impact doesn't stop at your feet. It travels. Your spine, already more vulnerable after 60, starts to absorb forces it was never designed to take, especially in the lumbar region, where most of the weight-bearing happens. Discs compress, muscles brace, vertebrae tighten down. It doesn't happen in a fall. It happens in footsteps. And the damage doesn't announce itself with a loud crack or pop. It starts with morning stiffness, a little more fatigue, that deep ache in your lower back that lingers after standing at the sink or walking across the house. You chalk it up to aging, but the truth is it's coming from the floors beneath you. And the fact that your spine is taking direct impact with every barefoot step. You might have heard people say barefoot walking is natural, but that's only true if you're walking on grass, on sand, on soft earth. Your ancestors didn't walk barefoot on concrete and tile. You do, and your spine is paying the price for it. Huberman emphasizes that your nervous system is constantly scanning for safety, and when you're barefoot on hard surfaces, your body never fully relaxes. It stays braced, prepared. That tension starts in your soles, but it climbs silently all the way up your back. So what's the fix? It's not about wearing shoes in the house for the sake of fashion or formality. It's about protecting your spine the moment you stand up. The right pair of house shoes, supportive, cushioned, with a non-slip sole, can transform how your spine feels by the end of the day. They absorb the impact your joints can't. They keep your pelvis level. They remind your body it's safe, so your spine doesn't have to do all the work. You don't need a new back. You need a new relationship with the floor. But even the best shoes can cause damage if they're doing the wrong job at the wrong time. And that's where the most common and most overlooked spinal mistake begins. One pair for every task, one spine paying the price. You have a favorite pair. Maybe they're comfortable. Maybe they were expensive. Maybe they just work. So you wear them everywhere, to walk, to shop, to garden, to visit friends. One pair, every task. It seems practical, but it's not. It's actually one of the most damaging habits for your spine. You see, not all movement is created equal. Walking on pavement uses your body differently than bending in the garden. Standing in line is nothing like climbing stairs. Each of these actions places unique demands on your posture, your balance, your support system, and your spine is at the center of it all, adjusting, bracing, reacting to every movement your shoes either support or don't. Andrew Huberman emphasizes that resilience comes from specificity. The nervous system thrives when it gets the right input for the right action, but when you wear the same pair of shoes for everything, you strip that specificity away. Your spine is forced to adapt to mismatched support, and over time it breaks down. Here's how it happens. You wear your walking shoes while working in the yard, but gardening often requires lateral movement, kneeling, quick pivots. Walking shoes aren't built for that. They don't provide the side-to-side stability your hips and spine need, so your lower back compensates, shifting and twisting in unnatural ways. Then you take those same shoes, now worn and filled with dirt, and use them for your daily walk. The traction is weaker, the midsole is compromised, your feet start to roll slightly inward. You don't feel it, but your spine does. With every step, it absorbs more impact. It starts to guard, and over time, that guarding becomes chronic tightness, then pain. By trying to keep things simple, one pair for everything, you've unknowingly handed your spine a mismatched toolkit. It's like asking a screwdriver to do the job of a wrench. You can force it, but something will slip, something will crack. The fix is what many experts call the three-zone approach. One pair for inside the house, one for daily walking and errands, one for activity-specific needs like hiking, gardening, or uneven terrain. Each pair tailored to the movement it supports, each one sending your spine the correct message for the job at hand. You don't need 5 closets full of shoes, just 3 reliable pairs, worn with purpose. Your spine doesn't care about style, it cares about alignment. And when you give it the right tools, it gives you something in return: strength, balance, and freedom. But here's the part no one talks about. You don't need special treatments, you don't need a new spine, and you don't need pain to be your normal, because what's been damaging your back all along might just be the shoes you trusted most. And once you fix that, everything changes. Rewire your spine, one step at a time. You've probably been told your spine is wearing out, that what you're feeling, this tightness, this stiffness, this pain, is just a natural part of getting older, something you're supposed to accept, something you learn to live with. They tell you it's arthritis, disc degeneration, gravity, time, and maybe part of that is true. But that's not the whole story, because your spine isn't failing you, it's responding. It's reacting to the signals it's been receiving every single day, signals that start at your feet and travel all the way up your body, whispering instructions with every step. And for years, those signals have been distorted. They've been weak. They've been wrong. Not because your body is broken, but because your shoes have been sending the wrong message. Andrew Huberman reminds us that your nervous system is plastic. That means it changes, it adapts, and most importantly, it learns. The way you walk, the way you stand, the way your spine carries your weight, these aren't permanent traits, they're habits, patterns, scripts your body has repeated so many times that they've become second nature. But anything learned can be unlearned, and anything unlearned can be rebuilt, rewired, renewed. But only if you change the input, the message your feet send with every step. That's where it all begins. When your shoes are unstable, your spine braces. When your shoes are too soft, your spine loses clarity. When your shoes are worn out or designed without structure, your spine is left guessing. It tries to adjust, it tries to help, but over time, that helpful adjustment turns into misalignment. That misalignment turns into inflammation, and that inflammation turns into pain. You don't need surgery, you don't need injections or electric machines or high-tech braces. What your spine needs is something much simpler. It needs stability, it needs alignment, it needs a message it can finally trust again. That message starts with your shoes. Shoes that hold your foundation in place, that lift your arch, that absorb shock so your vertebrae don't have to. Shoes that move with you, not against you, that support your natural gait, your natural posture, your natural strength. Shoes that create balance, not just in your feet, but throughout your entire body. Because when you fix what's under you, you fix what's holding you up. When you change the way your foot connects to the ground, your spine begins to reset. It stops guarding. It stops fighting gravity. It stops carrying weight the wrong way. And it finally gets to do what it was built to do: stand tall, move freely, and support you without pain. This isn't just about posture. This is about freedom. It's about the moment you stop avoiding stairs, the moment you stop groaning when you rise from a chair, the moment you walk into a room and forget just for a second that your back used to hurt. It's about reclaiming the parts of your life that pain has slowly stolen from you. And all of that starts with a single decision: to stop wearing what's familiar and start wearing what actually helps. It won't take years. It won't take miracles. It just takes the right signal. And that signal starts from the ground up. So when you take that next step, make sure it's in a shoe that's not working against you, but working for you. That first step might feel small, but to your spine, it changes everything.